what's up, stackers? We are about to discuss the reality of silver ever really hitting $100 per ounce. Before we go into that, I did want to share I am doing my 55,000 subscriber silver giveaway. So if you want a chance to win some silver, make sure you go enter in that video and click subscribe. Now, could the price of silver ever really hit $100 per ounce? This is a really good article because it does bring different perspectives into play. It's really easy to just say, yeah, it will. But if you don't explain your reasoning, you're not really saying much. So I want to go over the reasoning, and I also would love for you to all participate and let me know if you think the price will as well, and also when. Do you think it's going to happen in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? I really would like to know. Then a little bit later into this video, I will share my opinion on when I think silver will hit triple digits. Hopefully you stick around, because regarding this entire conversation of triple digit silver, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot, trust me. I'm sure you already have a lot to say regarding, $100 silver itself. It's easy to say that. A lot of people are going to over dramatize it, make it seem like it's going to happen a lot sooner than it really is, which is false hope, which is also very dangerous, because that could also reflect upon how you're stacking. And if you're stacking thinking the price is about to explode tomorrow, that can definitely cause some bad decision making, and in return, bad purchases. So what's in store for silver in the future? Keith Neumeyer of First Majestic Silver has said he sees the white metal reaching $130 per ounce. We all know Keith Neumeyer. He is very, very heavy into the silver world. He's done a lot of interviews with Kitco. I mean, he's a great guy. He really does understand the silver shortage as well, especially going into the green revolution, a lot of what I talk about. So I'm glad that people are giving his voice a platform, since he has some really important stuff to also talk about. But anyways, Neumeyer has said, or voiced in his opinion often, that most recently in a March 2022 article with Kitco, he put up a $130 price target in November 2017 with Palisade Radio. He has also reiterated his triple-digit silver price forecast in multiple interviews with Kitco, one in March 2018, top of 2020, and another in May 2021. When we talk about triple-digit silver, we're not talking about tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not next year. You shouldn't be thinking on planning in a month, a week, a year from now anyways. When you're buying silver at $25, this is a hedge against inflation for the longer term. Eventually it can, but the whole point is, regardless, silver is something that holds its value. Even if silver would never hit triple digits, you putting your money into silver as the dollar's losing its purchasing power is more than enough reason to invest into it. And a lot of people, that's why they do. They don't ever think silver will hit $100. I mean, I can definitely put a debate on why I think it will, but regardless, that's not the point for a lot of people. It's just simply because silver is like putting your money in a time capsule while your money's burning away in your bank account. In order to better understand where Neumeyer's opinion comes from and whether a triple-digit silver price is really in the cards, it's important to take a look at the factors that affect the metal's movements, as well as where prices have been in the past and where other industry insiders think silver could be headed. First, let's dive a little deeper into Neumeyer's prediction that the white metal could break the $100 level. Silver in the future. Why $100? So there's a significant distance for the silver price to go before it reaches the success Neumeyer has boldly predicted. In fact, in order for the precious metal to jump to this seemingly $100 mark, its price would have to increase from its current value by more than 350%. And I wanted to also mention something else that's really important. The last time silver was $50 was in 2011. I pulled up an article from 2011 when silver was $50. So we can get shot back in this exact time frame back then when silver was $50. All the hype was in the air. And this article came out saying silver hits $50 for the first time since 1980. Imagine how exciting that time period was when this article was written. It's very interesting to read articles like this during those time frames, because then you can see they probably thought it was going to go a lot higher. Most of these people probably didn't sell, and not knowing that they weren't going to ever see a price like this for several decades later. So it's really, you can learn a lot when you're reading an article from 2011 when everything was exploding. But anyways, I'm going to make a separate video for that. I just wanted to share that point of view as well. So Neumeyer expects a triple-digit silver price in part because he believes the current market cycle compares to the year 2000 when investors were sailing high on the dot-com bubble and the mining sector was down. He thinks it's only a matter of time before the market corrects like it did in 2001 and 2002, and mining sees a big rebound in pricing. It was during this time that Neumeyer himself invested heavily in mining stocks and came out on top. He says, I've been calling for triple-digit silver for a few years now, and I'm more enthused than now, said Neumeyer at an event in July 2020 or January 2020, noting that here or there are multiple factors behind his reasoning, but I'm cautiously enthused because, I thought it would have happened sooner than it currently is happening. And I could definitely agree. On pen and paper, it does not make sense whatsoever that precious metals are the price that they are, but you have to also factor in, price manipulation. Also, there's crypto speculation. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes with governments trying to suppress the price and yada yada. But regardless, this is another reason I wanted to make this video, is that silver is going to take on a life of its own, even beyond gold, regardless of what the dollar index is doing. And that's because silver's intrinsic value going up against supply and demand fundamentals, which we know aren't going to be realistic too much longer with the already happening supply deficits and the ongoing demand that's going to be astronomically increasing over the next decade. So in a May 2021 interview, when presented with supply-side data from the Silver Institute indicating the biggest surplus in silver market history, Neumeyer was blunt in his skepticism. And this is a lot of controversy. I should make a video on this because a lot of people say the Silver Institute's numbers are made up. And like he just says, I think these numbers are made up. I wouldn't trust them at all. He's pointed out that subtracting the net investments in silver exchange-traded products, or ETPs, leaves the market in a deficit, and also question the methodology behind the Institute's recycling data, given that most recycled silver metal comes from privately owned smelters and refineries that typically don't make those figures public. And that's a whole controversial topic. I'm not going to go into it, but it does make sense. It's extremely hard to tell, where all the silver goes, and especially when you do factor in recycling, since most silver's used in the industrial sector. And most silver is used for laptops and all these different things. So it's hard to really calculate how much silver is being thrown back into circulation. It's not like gold, where most gold, 95% of gold is used for coins and necklaces. So it just gets remelted and recycled and reused and rescrapped into more coins and necklaces. And, it's a lot harder. But anyways, more controversially, Neumeyer is one of the opinion that the white metal will eventually become uncoupled from its sister metal gold. What I was literally just talking about, and that's basically the point of this video. It's pretty funny because I didn't read this article yet, but just brought up exactly what I wanted to talk about in this video, is that silver will take on a life of its own beyond gold, and should be seen as a strategic metal due to its necessity in many everyday appliances, from computers to electronics to solar panels. He also stated that silver production has gone down in recent years, meaning that, contrary to popular belief, the metal is actually a rare commodity. It is becoming harder and harder to find silver. According to Neumeyer in a 2018 interview, we're consuming, as a human race, over 1 billion ounces of silver annually, and miners are only producing around 800 million ounces a year, and that's been dropping for 3 consecutive years. He also pointed out to declining grades, making the case for a supply deficit, like I was saying. And the demand exceeded 1.112 billion ounces this year. Production, I think it was like 855 million ounces. They said their goal by 2026 is like 800 and I think 70 or 80 million ounces. Might have been a little over 900. I can't remember. Regardless, though, even their prediction by the year 2026 won't even exceed a billion ounces, when this year we already exceeded a demand of a billion ounces. So imagine what the demand will be like in 2026: 2 billion ounces, 3 billion ounces, when production will only be, around 900 million. It's just not realistic that supply will be able to keep up with the demand. So, and that's probably the biggest reason I think that silver will hit triple digits. And I really do think that is going to be the main factor and the main driver behind silver ever hitting $100 would be that, right? Supply and demand always has the biggest influence and effect on the price of something, especially that has intrinsic value that comes out of the ground. So 1 plus 1 equals 2. I mean, investing 101 for anything. Low supply, high demand shoots the price up. But I also wanted to share when I think silver will hit triple digits, and I would love for you to share your time frame as well. But I think by the year 2026, 2027, probably early 2027, and that is because by then we will be deep into the green revolution. Demand will be probably 2-3 billion ounces by then, since almost every automobile company will be electric by then, as every company by the year 2030 is going to be electric. By then, 4 or 5 years later, we're going to live in a much different world in this new digital technological era we're advancing in. We're going to need a lot more silver at a rapid pace. Solar panels will be nearly flooded the globe by then. 5G towers will be everywhere. I think that's when everyone's going to realize how serious the silver shortage is, and that's when silver's true natural price will start to unfold and reveal itself, is around the year 2027. Late 2026, early 2027. That's when I think triple digit silver. Before then, they can still suppress the price because we're talking about things that have bigger pulls. I mean, because you have to look at it like this. It's like a puppet string, right? Every finger of that string on that hand puppet pulls the price, but maybe your thumb pulls the price or affects the price greater because your thumb is stronger or bigger. You're going to see the dollar index have a greater pull than stock market volatility, or compared to crypto, or compared to the FOMC meeting coming out and stating something. But supply and demand will always have the biggest effect on the price, affecting it, either positively or negatively. And we know this case, it's only going to be positively, leaving silver extremely scarce, with everyone trying to get a slice of the silver pie, and not only just the industrial sector, but also the investing sector. But there's just not enough of it. So I think by the year 2027, let me know what year you think silver will hit $100. I would love for you to also let me know in the comments. So what factors are affecting the price movement? So in order to glean a better understanding of the precious metals' chances of trading around the $100 range, it's important to examine the elements that could push it to that level or pull it farther away. Strength of the U.S. dollar, like I just mentioned, the U.S. Federal Reserve interest rates, and it's talking about easing central banks factors will continue to affect the precious metal, as well as geopolitical issues, supply and demand dynamics, like I just mentioned. Although Neumeyer believes that the ties that bind silver to gold need to be broken, that's mostly from the same factors that shape the price of gold and move silver. For that reason, it's helpful to look at gold price drivers when trying to understand silver's price action. Silver is, of course, the more volatile of the two metals, but nevertheless often trades in relative tandem with gold. For gold, by extension, silver is a key price driver lately, with so much supply and demand, but uncertainty. And here's another thing. It's funny that the price of gold and silver are so identical when they're used for two completely different things. Silver is 93% in industrial metal. There is silver used in jewelry and coins, but very small percent. Gold is the exact opposite. 90% of gold is used for jewelry and coins, and only a small fraction is used in electronics. So since silver and gold are used for two completely different things, why are the prices so directly correlated, right? And I think that that when silver's uses for these electronics take off, gold's uses for electronics are almost non-existent, so it won't take off with silver, and that is why the markets are going to diverge from themselves. So anyways, this whole situation going on right now between Russia is expected to weigh heavily on commodities markets. And did you know that actually a single Tomahawk missile uses 500 ounces of silver? A single one. That was actually what Michelle McCory said in a Kitco article with Steve Neumeyer, talking about how the war uses up so much silver. I thought that was pretty interesting. But anyways, let's keep moving on. Talks about the paradigm shift. I made a video about that the other day. Also, key market participants to watch central banks do is they could have a huge impact on silver. Blah, blah, blah. Cut rates down to 0. So silver close ties with gold safe haven status should be beneficial for the long term. And then metals industrial growth potential, obviously, and then CIBC market analysts see silver averaging $32 in 2022, higher industrial demand from emerging sectors, and they're saying this pushing silver up because there is a direct correlation between silver demand and silver's price. When demand goes up, price follows almost identical, which that can be a good enough case as it is for looking at where silver prices are headed. We know demand is going to be growing over the next decade and several decades, and demand always does move with supply. So while not all silver market watchers anticipate triple-digit silver, there's support for Neumeyer's belief that the metal is undervalued and that the ideal conditions are present for silver prices to rise. And that's kind of what I was talking about. A lot of you might be under this, but regardless, silver has intrinsic value while the dollar is backed by nothing. What do you think, though? Do you think silver will hit triple digits, and what does that time frame look like, and why? Why would it hit that? Are you on the same page as me, where I'm talking about more of supply deficits and how we're going to need a lot more silver, or is it a different reason? Or do you disagree? Do you think silver will never hit $100? Or do you think it might never even hit $50 again because of price suppression? Let me know what you think. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you thought it was educational, informational, at least entertaining, make sure to hit the like button. Also, go enter my 55,000 subscriber silver giveaway. I post daily videos, a lot of silver given away to a lot of different people. Once again, may the luckiest stackers win. Thanks for tuning in. Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.